Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Power Talk Show powered by Business Talks Weekly. Our guest today is building a resilient cloud infrastructure and storage network. He is the Chief Growth Officer of StorX Network, Murphy John. Murphy, welcome to the Power Talk Show.
Hey, Naveen, thanks for having me. Excited to be a part of the show.
It is our pleasure. Murphy, thank you so much for joining us. Before we dive into a conversation, can you tell us a bit about your professional journey and what led to the creation of StorX Network?
Okay. I've been in the cloud industry for the past 28 years. Started in the previous company that I was, we were in charge of building an infrastructure. I just came out of college and the internet boom was just happening all around India, around the world. The adoption was happening great, and we saw great potential in internet being really making changes to life of people. And we immediately switched on to that. We went into the business, we started work, and we were very lucky that we were initial stage to understand the technology and deploy the technology for clients. And from there, we started a tech journey. So there we were, for the previous company, we were in charge. We were like setting up infrastructure for clients of Fortune 500 companies in India. We were setting up the servers. We were managing the emails, taking care of the domain assets, whole lot of infrastructure. Infrastructure has been my core forte for the so many years. And, we have been doing the journey for the past 20 years. I was involved with the organization. We did very well. The company is still going on, working pretty well in India. And then it started that there should be new technology that we should look forward. And that's when the blockchain revolution was all happening. People were adopting, and we really felt that this is going to be the next great thing that's going to make a lot of changes in people's life. And we started pivoting into that, and we started looking what is the technology that would be making changes in the life of people. How could we contribute to this great revolution that is happening? And that's where we found, since we had the background of cloud already and infrastructure was like core forte, we started looking into this segment of decentralized cloud storage, because we thought that centralized, there were very few centralized service providers, hyperscalers around the world, maybe five, and they were almost dominating with 80 plus percentage of the market share that they are having all around. So that evidently means that if any piece of the data that you're storing ends up in either of these five hyperscalers around the world, and that's really a very dangerous scenario, because what happens is, if you have so many few people who are taking care of the entire globe, it becomes very very dangerous, and it gives a lot of monopolistic powers to these hyperscalers. And then there were a lot of abuse that was happening data. There were a lot of scandals that came out, Cambridge Analyticals, the way people were storing the data, the way people were analyzing the data. That's where we found that we could really make some changes and we could offer this great services. And we pivoted into this around year 2020, and we started deeply looking into the technology. We found that this could be the right feature or the right market fix that people are looking forward. And then we started the development journey. It took us around a year and a half to develop the services. And then we launched this decentralized cloud storage. We were in the beta for the first 1.5 years, and then we went to the main product after that. So now we are like, it's 2026. So we are 4 years in the journey of having this providing service to the customers.
Thank you so much, Murphy, for sharing that with us. So, for our audience, what does it mean centralized service providers and what does it mean decentralized providers? And then, what is your core offering to your audience?
Just to start with, I'll just explain. You people are already aware of the hyperscalers. There are 4 or 5 hyperscalers around the world: Google, Amazon, Microsoft, all these guys who like control the major part of the cloud infrastructure right now. So what traditionally what they have been doing was, before this started, I'll just give you one more revival. People used to store data in their on premises. All the data was supposed to be stored in the on premises, and everywhere the data used to be like on the organization itself. And then there was this development that happens about the cloud, and the cloud service providers came up and they gave us the promise that once you move your data to the cloud, means globally you move your data to the cloud, they would give you three major benefits. One was they can give you scalability, which is unlimited, and that's in fact true with the hyperscalers. The second one is their data is going to remain very secure. Nobody is going to snoop into the data. Nobody is going to be really secure, and will ensure that the data is really healthy. And the third one is the price is you're going to save a lot of money when you move your data from on premises to the cloud. So these were the three core promises on which the hyperscalers started their own journey. But now, if you see over the period of time, there's only one benefit that remains: the scalability. The other two is they increase the prices. Prices is not as per as it used to be. And the second one, security, was also compromised. Not the major factor because of this cloud service product, because the data is being stored in central locations. Traditionally, how we tend to see is whenever you're storing a data in the cloud, you're storing it as a single piece of data in a single location. And this is a central location where host of other data is being stored. So that means Google or the any other scalers are storing in huge amount of data, humongous amount of data, and this is all having the same infrastructure, the same setup everywhere, and that's kind of standardized. So what happens is, because there's so much of standardization and so much of data that is being stored around the world, it become a really great opportunity for the hackers, for the governments around the world, for abuses like ransomware effect, because they just have to gain access to one site, and then, believe it or not, they'll get access to the everything, because everything follows the same pattern. So what happens is, because of this, now, if you are aware, last year or before that, there was like there are a lot of scams, a lot of data leak that happened, and there's rampant virus infection that happens. Something like ransomware that everyone is aware of, and that's a major threat to data right now. And even the data that is being stored is subject to a lot of supervision from governments due to certain laws and all those things. So what happens is, your data is sitting natively at one place, and it is subjected to so many forces around the world. So it's like you are no longer small and medium enterprises or any enterprises around the world. They feel that why should somebody come after my data? I'm a very small organization. I'm not even global. But they really don't understand. See, the hacker doesn't have to be coming in for him. He'll be coming in for the whole infrastructure, and he can delete, he can lock, and he thinks that way. So that's why we felt that, because of this, because of the blockchain and the decentralization that was happening around the world, we felt that we could combine the power of this storage as well as blockchain, and we brought this together, technology together, and that's how the decentralized technology that we are offering. So tell you how we are different compared to the other guys. So as I told you earlier, also, majority of the data that is stored on the cloud, if not all, is stored like a single file on a single location. You lose the access to that location, you lose the access to the data, maybe because of any reason. Maybe there will be an outage, the system, or it's infected by ransomware, or there's global outage that happens. So you will lose that access. What we do fundamentally different is, I explain you how decentralized cloud storage platform like StorX works. So whenever you're using a platform to store your data, what we do first is, first in the user's devices itself, we lock that file with his unique private key. So that means that key would be known only to the end user. Not even we as a platform knows that password. So once that file is encrypted, it's transferred to the platform, where it is broken down into small fragments. Then we replicate those fragments, data fragments, and then we send it to the network of nodes which are spread worldwide. Okay. So what happens is, your data never sits as a single file in a single location. If somebody is able to access the node, if somebody is able to get into the node, he will get in a fragmented data which is encrypted. So that would not make any sense to him. He will need access to a whole lot of other servers which are spread worldwide to get it and make that file. And to make that file, he will need that key which remains on the user's desktop. So this is how we ensure that the data always remains private, secure, and resilient that way. And because of this encryption, nobody can access the data. Because of the replication, it gets spread across multiple locations. So if one location is not available due to any reason, we can always get that from the other location that way. And it all happens background. The user doesn't have to be worried about anything. He will just go and access it as he's accessing his file. All this orchestration and everything happens in the background.
Absolutely. That's very interesting, Murphy. And a decade ago, nobody knew about cloud. Everybody were having physical servers and knock in there.
So this is, I'll just tell you the quantum of data that is being created. So this is in fact one of the most wonderful markets to be in. In the last 5 years, we have made more amount of data that we created in the last 20 years. So that's the amount of data that is being created every day because of the smart devices, IoT, smartphones, and everything. So this is something that is really very good. The market is going very great, and because of this adoption happening, because of the AI, AI actually needs a lot of data to be fed in. and then it comes off with some resources. So that all things is growing the markets by leaps and bounds. So it is one of the best markets to be in, and I only see this market to be growing in the coming years. So currently, we have fragments of users who are spread worldwide. We have some users in North America. We have an APAC region. That's a major force of region. Basically, users from Singapore, Vietnam, Philippines, and all those places and more. And then, of course, we have users in India and other Asian regions as well. But we have like fragmented set of data worldwide. It's not like any specific user group you're using it in much way.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what, when it comes to fragmented data, and when it comes to data security, many countries, especially like I am based in UAE, in Dubai, we have certain restrictions that your data cannot reside outside of the country. It has to be within the locality. So the people have to use the local data centers to store their data. How does it work when you move across different countries and different regions?
So this basically all those data which are controlled by regulations like the healthcare records, the financial records, and all those things, they have to compile to all this kind of compliances which are there. But we are majorly targeting the data which is not compliant under the compliance which comes in the row. The other thing is these countries, people are using your own country to store the data, but because of the geographical dynamics that has been happening, you're already aware of so many things around happening around the globe. It's really not very feasible to keep your data entirely in one single location. If you are a global organization, it's always advisable to spread it out in multiple locations. Of course, you have to respect your local legislation. That's more important. But if you're not a compliant organization, if you're not compliant by any certain regulatory authority from the government to keep your data in-house, you should always go in for a distributed model, because that will give you maximum security and efficiency of your data.
Absolutely makes sense. Murphy, you being the chief growth officer, what has been your biggest challenge to scale?
Our biggest challenge right now is the mindset. So we are still there's still adoption. See, I'll tell you, for people to move the data from on premises to the cloud, it took almost like 10 to 20 years, 15 years roughly. They started telling it, and it took them 15 years. Now the cloud has become de facto standard. Now nobody talks about on premises and all those things. Of course, there are people who are storing data still on premises due to various regulations and security concerns. But that's our journey. So it's people who we have to make them understand that this is also a concept which is very secure. You're secured by design rather than you are trusting any organization or any brand. So with decentralized technology, what happens is we are an open source project. Everything is can be source code is open, available on GitHub. People can see it. So what happens is people are still coming up with terms that something like this can be done. That's the major challenge that we have, the mindset of the people ensuring and then the data remains secure.
Is there anything you would have done differently if you would have started earlier, or if given a time to rewind things?
Majorly, we could have started with ensuring that we are making people aware of the technology. So we could have spent a lot of time and effort educating people before starting the organization. Now we're doing the other part. So we've started the organization and then we are educating people about the benefits and the concept.
Absolutely. So what is StorX vision for the next 5?
So our vision is to be one of the secure storage providers and to be on par with all the global leaders around this. So we have seen now we've seen people are adopting it, maybe in a very small way, but still people are open to adopting this technology. People feel that there's some benefits that they could derive out of it. So that's what we want to have. So we're looking at having a mind share of the people in another 5 to 10 years, being on par with all the global hyperscalers for the storage needs.
Absolutely. That's interesting. And who do you consider, like, who is your biggest competitor in the market?
So the hyperscalers, to say, needless to say, they control 80% of the market. So there can be a lot of things that can be done. Saying that, because of the 80% market is, they come with a lot of other services as well. So the hyperscalers are combined. So we are just in a core part of storage. The hyperscalers come with computing, and all those services. So we will still be a niche player. We will still be operating in that storage market with the operations around not offering other things. But still, it would be a dominant player. That's what we feel. I think biggest lesson is always the technology is always adopting. So we have to be aware now with the age of AI. So we come Before, when we started a career, people used to have something, a technology would be derived and it would stay for 10, relevant for 5, 10 years. Now we feel with the AI, it's like the period of organization has grown down like 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year is the maximum. I'm saying maximum that you can rely on a certain product. So you keep growing, keep your eyes, ears open, look at what is coming, what you need to adopt a lot of things. And it's really overwhelming. That's what I feel that after being in technology for so many years, there's so many technologies which have come up, and it's really difficult to pinpoint a certain technology, work on it, because you need certain time to understand the technology, derive benefit from it. By the time you feel that's already outdated, you have something new coming in. So that's one of
Absolutely.
the biggest challenge that I feel in this AI world. Yeah, I think they have one of it. It's one of the best market to be in now because of AI. There is no difference between a company that's 300 making $1 million and a company that is just started. You have the same resources, you have the same technology, you have same benefits. So it's one of the best time to be in the market. Only thing is you have to keep your eyes and ears open, adopt new technology, look at people, understand the globally what is happening, because what used to first happen is before 10 years there used to be information arbitrage which was happening. Like there was a technology which was working in US, people used to adopt it and people used to copy it for 6 months and then the technology should run. But now you don't have that information arbitrage. Everybody everywhere is aware of all the things. So there's really no arbitrage that you can get out of it. You need to be really very quick and start working in and start deploying new services.
We are connected so well digitally, like the information is coming and it's easily accessible to everyone, right?
That's
Murphy,
right.
one piece of advice, like I asked this to all my guests, one piece of advice that you received that changed your perspective.
I think one piece is very difficult, but there are a lot of people, I had a lot of mentors. I was lucky enough to have a lot of mentors who guided me across the world. And I still have a lot of mentors that I look forward to. It's something like you need to keep your mind open and have positive attitude. Start accepting things and people that come in the life, because there are a lot of things that people give away that can only happen if you have your eyes and ears open to people, because that's something that we
Absolutely.
need to. And that these are the actually people. So even in the AI world, you need people. You need to have connections with people, and you need to listen to your mentors and all the people who are telling some information things, because it does make a lot of difference still in AI world. In today's world, also people's connection make a lot of difference. So that's really something that I learned, and that keeps on happening. I should give this advice to everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Murphy, for joining us today on our podcast. It was a wonderful conversation. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much. Thank you very much, Naveen.